Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into another episode of the Abhirup show. Like in this episode, I will talk about some basic AI fundamentals, like terminologies which you'll encounter as you progress and as you learn more towards AI. The first one that I want to talk about is chain of thought. Okay, just as humans, we break down any problem into smaller parts. So an AI also looks at problems and breaks it down into smaller parts before finally arriving at a conclusion. Okay, now this entire process is known as chain of thought. So how it essentially helps is like whenever any developer is working on an AI platform, they essentially applies this think clauses. So there is a beginning think bracket and a closing think bracket, between which they can see how exactly their AI model is working on the solution problem. And this entire method is known as chain of thought, whereby the AI breaks up any given query to it into smaller parts and tries to come up with a logical solution to it. The second important thing that I want to talk about essentially is distillation. Now, distillation is a very common terminology, and now with the emergence of DeepSeek and models like Quen arriving, there is essentially a thought of how exactly distillation works. So look at like AI as a configuration of the neural network, like it's basically nodes that are certainly set up. In order to come to a certain conclusion, the nodes need to be configured. Now, this process encounters a lot of training, and there's a significant cost and time both involved in the training process of the AI. Okay, now what happens in a distillation case is that I take an existing AI model which has been trained and I try to essentially take its configuration into a new AI model. So, this entire process of training using another AI model is referred as distillation, whereby I take up the configuration of it. So, in a simple way, it's almost like, let's say, in a simple language, it's almost like a teacher and student. Okay, a teacher is aware of maybe 10 subjects, he is proficient in 10 subjects, but the student just needs to be proficient in one subject. So, I selectively take that learnings of that one particular subject and configure it in this new AI model. Okay, now the advantage of distillation is essentially like whenever we are creating a large language models, okay, there's a lot of unused capacity of it. So it's not that much efficient because it is essentially in a wide variety of knowledge spectrum. So its knowledge can range across mathematics to physics to general problem solving to a normal conversational part. Okay, when I'm looking at a distilled model, my entire focus is on building more condensed models. So my condensed model is that I am looking at more specialized models. So I can look at something like a fraud detection models. Let's say in banking terminology, I'm working on a fraud detection model. So I will only take up those configurations from the large language model and essentially just configure that part only in my new AI. So what it will lead to is it will lead to a more specialized AI, and as I train it further, so this will become a more proficient in resolving these related queries. It can, in fact, its response time will actually probably be lower than even the base model on which it is trained on. Okay. Now this is what was all about the distillation method. The next thing is like majority voting. So what exactly is majority voting? So whenever there is a logical question which is being asked to the AI model, okay, so at that point of time, it tries to check like what can be the proper conclusion. Like at times the AI model can give you an incorrect answer also. Now to prevent that, what is done is that all the various models through which a logical reasoning can be uh, led to are essentially configured in the AI. So when it looks at a such a logical reasoning query, so it tries to uh, come to a conclusion using all the different channels or different methodologies that it can. And then based on the majority of the recommendations, like for example, there will be 10 different models. Let's say seven of those models have recommended solution A, whereas three models have recommended solution B. So then it goes with solution A and suggests that as the possible outcome. And hence that's how it works. So it's like a majority voting, and its chances of error reduces drastically because the chances of the probability is high that considering that seven of the 10 models are suggesting solution A as the possible outcome, so it's more likely that that is the correct outcome. So that's how majority voting basically works. It's a good way to even train the AI as well as make the model more proof to errors. So that's how this majority voting principle essentially works. Now, the fourth one that I want to talk about essentially is how exactly an AI works. Like, this is not a principle in general, but AIs are very good in problem solving, like as we know. But how it approaches is not using formulas. So AIs are very good in forming patterns. Okay, so whenever, let's say, you are giving it a large scale of data. Okay, now if I try to plot those data in the form of a graph in an XY curve, like some of those graphs may be linear, some of them may be like non-linear as well. So an AI is very good in finding out the patterns and then predicting the outcome based on that. So that's how our human brain also works. Whenever we see certain, let's say, architecture or certain things, we tend to form a pattern around it. So AI model is also working on the similar prospect. So it finds pattern about it, and that's the reason it's very useful in areas like fraud detection or predictive analytics, because it's able to find a pattern across your data scenario. So these are some of the basic AI concepts that I wanted to talk about today, and I hope you liked watching the video. And it and I sincerely believe that it will help you in your AI journey as you explore further. So look forward to connecting you more. Have I'm working on something on in terms of analyzing DeepSeek's model versus OpenAI. So I will come back on it in my next upcoming videos. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.